Hello everyone, it's Kat and I'm so excited today because I'm finally doing my wear test that I've been wanting to do as soon as I found out this product was being released. So if you don't know me, I'm a big fan of MAC matte lipsticks. My two favorite of all time, Velvet Teddy is my favorite nude and Lady Danger is my favorite red. I've gone through multiple tubes of each. And when I found out they were reformulating one of my favorite lipsticks, I really want to see if this formula holds up to the old formula. So there are different claims. They're saying that this has more color, it's more longevity, more comfort. And I just really want to do a comparison of my favorite shades to see if that's the case. So what I did was I bought Velvet Teddy and I also bought Lady Danger. I'm going to do side-by-side lip swatches. So today I'm going to test Lady Danger. Tomorrow I'm going to test Velvet Teddy. So see how they actually compare to the original formula. And then I also decided to buy Warm Teddy, which is a new shade because I love Velvet Teddy. So I want to see just how that looks on the lips for anyone that's interested. So I did buy the new formula and I had brand new unopened versions of my favorite lipsticks, so I'm going to compare them today. So I'm going to start by applying Lady Danger, but just quickly when it comes to the packaging, the new one is a lot taller. It's the same sort of size when it comes to the width of it. So if you have specific lipstick holders, they should fit, but it will be taller. It also is a lot weightier. They've definitely put a weight in the bottom here, so it feels a lot weightier. It doesn't have a magnetic closure. I was sort of expecting whenever I feel sort of weighted lipsticks, they often have a magnetic closure. This has the same style closure. And the main difference is they've got a silver band now that has MAC printed on it in black, whereas the MAC used to be printed on the lid in silver, and that used to rub off quite a lot. So that's the main packaging differences. Also the sticker on the bottom, the new one has a black sticker with silver writing, whereas the old one had sort of like a grey sticker with black writing. I do think this new one is a little bit harder to read, but it does look nice and sleek, I suppose. The bullets look quite different as well. Hopefully you can see here that the original one looks quite shiny, whereas the new one, it actually has a texture on it. So in the mold, there would have been this sort of almost velvet texture to give it a more matte finish. And you probably can't see it here, but I'll have B-roll footage. You can see that they've got the MAC logo sort of imprinted on it as well. It also looks like the new one is a little bit sharper. So the molds they're using just seem to be a little bit sharper. Okay, so on my lips today, I've got nothing. All I did was wipe some foundation off with a bit of a dry sort of cloth. So there was probably a little bit of exfoliating going on, but no lip product. I'm going to start with the original so we can see what it's like. This is a brand new tube, so it might take a little bit of, no, it just applies beautifully. Sometimes brand new tubes have a bit of a like coating on it, but off the bat, super creamy, super pigmented. And I'm so familiar with this lipstick. It's my favorite lipstick. It's beautiful. Has a MAC vanilla smell. It's lovely. If you're not familiar with the traditional matte bullet lipstick formula, these are quite creamy, so they do give a bit of a shine to the lips. They look like a standard sort of creme finish, but they do settle down to being a little bit more matte. So yeah, they're not dry off the bat. New one, I'm so excited. Okay. All right, similar color. I will swatch them side by side as well. Feels thinner. So this one feels a little bit creamier. This one feels a little bit thinner. Oh, that's interesting. If I was to, I'm actually pleasantly surprised because it doesn't look any different and it doesn't really feel any different. Besides it being maybe a bit thinner to apply, I'm going to turn the brightness down a bit so hopefully we can see it. Beautiful color, looks the same. I'd heard people say that it felt more silicone-like. To me, it feels the same. On the lips, it feels the same. It looks the same. If I had to really overanalyze it, maybe this feels a little bit creamier and this might feel a little bit thinner, but if I didn't know any better, I would think this is the same lipstick, which I'm thrilled about because it's my favorite lipstick. I didn't want them to take it away. The wear test will probably show some differences, so we'll see how it wears throughout the day and wears for 12 hours. But right now, as it is, if you're a Lady Danger lover and you're really worried about your old favorite being taken away, I don't notice any difference. I don't notice any difference. So before I go on with my day and check in periodically with how it's wearing down, I'm going to swatch these on my arm. So I'm going to obviously swatch the Lady Dangers side by side, so if we can see any differences in finish. I'm also going to swatch the original, the new Velvet Teddy. I'm going to swatch the new Warm Teddy so we can see the color difference. And I'm also going to compare it to Teddy 2.0, which is in the Powder Kiss range. Okay, original Lady Danger here. I'll give it 2 swatches just to make sure it's nice and obvious. New Lady Danger. Beautiful. The same. Little bit, looks a little bit sheerer, so maybe it's slightly less creamy to apply. Original Velvet Teddy. Beautiful. There we go. New Velvet Teddy. Very similar. Warm Teddy. This is going to be interesting. Definitely has the same vibe, just a little bit warmer, a little bit darker. And this is Teddy 2.0, which is the same color as the original, just in the Powder Kiss formula. I'm going to swatch it here just so we can compare it to the original. You can see that that is lighter and it's more of a silicone finish. So it's sort of less shiny because it's got that silicone effect. But it's also sheerer. The main things that I can notice from swatching these is that I do think the originals are a little bit thicker and creamier, so they actually apply a little bit more opaque straight away. That doesn't mean that the color can't be built up to look the same, but it does make the new ones look slightly lighter than the original formula. I think the color is exactly the same and it will get to the same effect on the lips. It's just that these are a little bit thicker and creamier and these just look like they're a bit thinner. Okay, so this has been nearly 2.5 hours and I have just had a coffee. That's all I've had, but I'm about to have some lunch. So we'll see how this really wears down because food is often the main thing that wears down lipstick. I'm gonna say just from drinking coffee, I feel like this has worn down more than that side, just slightly. But it's, you know, splitting hairs at this point. It looks the same. My face is a bit oily. They look the same. Same amount of pigment, same texture, same everything. So I'll check back in after eating. All right, it's about an hour after that and I have had a light lunch, like nothing wet and oily, just sort of like crackers and snacky things. So it is starting to wear down slightly, but not much. And they look exactly the same. They look exactly the same. So it's 5:15, so it's been on for over 7 hours and I wanted to check in because I'm about to have pizza with my family soon and I thought, look, it's best to check in before we get pizza on this situation. But I'm just gonna say, they look identical. They look and feel identical. The color is still there. It's quite even. It's not obviously as bold as it was, but it's not, there's not one side that's more dry than the other. If anything, they look exactly the same. Even where they sort of gather here in the drier skin area, even where they've worn off with drinking, it looks nice. I still like this. It looks just like a more muted sort of red lip, but there's no winner here. There's nothing more pigmented, nothing more comfortable, and nothing more long wearing at the 7-ish hour mark. All right, it's 6:30, so it has been 8.5 hours. This is after dinner. It's still on, which is nice. Dare I say, there's a little bit more color left on the new side than there is on the old side, but it's also patchier. So last night I wore the lipstick for 12.5 hours and I can say that it definitely does last until 12 hours. Now, interestingly, it was the point where the new formula did look like it was longer lasting, but it also wore off sort of more patchy. So the dry areas of my lips sort of clung to the lipstick a little bit more. So it didn't actually look any better than the original, but technically it did last a bit longer, but it was so close. In terms of comfort, they both felt the same. My lips were feeling a little bit dry by the end of the day, but that was simply because I wasn't putting lip balm on. Normally what I do with lipstick is I'll wear a lipstick, probably after lunch I might put a lip balm on, and then you know, an hour or two later, if I'm going out, I'll reapply the lipstick. But just a whole day without lip balm that's how my lips sort of go anyway. So there really wasn't much of a difference. So today I'm testing out the Velvet Teddies. I don't think these are going to last the 12 hours because they're nude shades, but we'll see. I might be pleasantly surprised. Just off the bat, my lips are feeling a bit drier today simply because I wasn't sort of hydrating them enough yesterday. But I'm going to start with the original on this side, same as yesterday. Beautiful color. Love this color. Feels super creamy. Gives that beautiful creme effect that settles down to matte. New one. Okay, this looks identical as well. It might look like this side's a bit lighter. I think it's just the morning sun coming on this side of the face. It's like how this brow looks lighter. The color is the same, the finish is the same. I did feel like I had to sort of put a few more swipes on this because it is a bit of a thinner formula, but overall feels the same. It's been nearly 3.5 hours and it's looking really nice. I have just quickly had a bit of a snack for lunch and it's definitely faded down. But this is a really pretty look. I really like this sort of time of Velvet Teddy. So where it's sort of settled down, it looks a bit like lip texture. It's not feeling dry. It's just looking like perfected lips. Both sides are doing the same thing. 6 hours wear and it's almost entirely faded down. Both sides look identical, feel identical. If I was to remove some, you'd see there's a little bit left, but really not enough to be like, yeah, this is going to last 12 hours. It's not. Day 3 of testing these lip products, and I'm going to compare all the Velvet Teddy type colors. So I'm going to lip swatch Teddy 2.0 from the Powder Kiss range, and I'm going to lip swatch Velvet Teddy and Warm Teddy from the new formula. Teddy 2.0 gives that sort of rosy brown look. It looks a lot more like my natural lip color. It's thinner and it's a bit sheerer. Because it's silicone based, it does give that sort of blotted matte effect rather than a bold sort of creamy lipstick. So this almost looks like Velvet Teddy blotted down. Velvet Teddy from the MACximal formula. Looks a little bit more bold, looks a little bit darker, maybe a little bit more cool toned on me than the Powder Kiss one. I've been dying to try this, so I'm really excited. So we've got Warm Teddy. Definitely looks a little bit more sort of brick tones. All right, time to talk about what I think about this new formula overall. Does it meet the claims? Does it live up to the original formula? And I'm going to say it is very, very, very close. It feels the same, it looks the same, and the colors are identical. I think there are a couple of improvements, but they seem at the moment very minor. So their claims are sort of more color, more comfort, more long wear. I don't necessarily agree. I think the color looks the same on the lips. I do think comfort wise, the new formula is a little bit thinner. So it might mean that you need to apply just another coat to sort of build the opacity, but it also means it does feel a little bit thinner on the lips and you can go thinner if you want. One past criticism that I've had with the original formula is they can get thick over time. I'm hoping this thinner formula might stay thinner and just feel a little bit more comfortable over the course of using up the lipstick. So I'll give them that. When it comes to long wear, Lady Danger was definitely much more longer wearing than Velvet Teddy. That's just the case of lipsticks. Red pigment lasts a lot longer. It did meet the claim of 12 hours. And I do find that right at the end of the day, so right at the 12-hour, sort of 10 to 12-hour mark, I could start seeing that the new formula had a little bit more longevity than the original. But it was so minute that it really doesn't matter that much. It does show though that this lipstick performs just as well as the original, which is great to see. So as a MAC lipstick lover, I am happy with this change. I'm not mad they've changed it. I'm not getting my pitchforks out saying, give me back my original formula. I think they've done it justice, which is great. Now, why did MAC update their formula? Now, they didn't actually explain why, but I've heard a lot of sort of theorizing in the comments. So I've done a few videos talking about these, and a lot of people sort of come up with similar theories. And the one that comes up the most is shrinkflation. So I know a lot of brands, it can be food brands, beauty brands, they sort of shrink the product or reduce the quality of the ingredients so they can keep the price of the product at a similar price point, but you're just not getting the same quality, or you're getting less of it because everything's going up in price. All the ingredients are going up in price. Now, I think that is a fair theory in this day and age, but I really don't think that's what MAC is doing. And the reason why I say that is because the quality of the bullet is far superior to the quality of the original bullet. They've put a weight in here so it feels heavy. Like, I should actually weigh these. I'm actually going to have weights of these on the screen. So I'll have the original and I'll have the new one. Again, I've used these are brand new, so the usage is the same, but it'll show you how different the weight of the new one is, which is an expense. Putting a weight in every package to make it feel luxurious in your hand is an expense. Also, they've put this new sort of design on the bullet. And again, it's not that big a deal, but they've had to like make these sort of custom molds, which again costs money. If you look at the ingredients list and like, okay, I don't know what a lot of these things are or the price point of them, but it doesn't look like they're cheaping out by just putting a lot of binder and a lot of cheap filler in there to cheap down the ingredients. It actually looks like it's quite a sophisticated formula. And I think what they may have done, they've just used newer ingredients and technology to probably mimic the same effect of the original lipstick, but probably make it a little bit more stable over time and just update the ingredients. Like I mentioned, this original formula has been around for decades. Often ingredients can change over time. So, you know, what was the typical formulation of a lipstick back in the 90s, it's completely changed now. So I feel like they're just modernizing things, which I don't think is cutting costs. The last reason I don't think this is a shrinkflation move is simply because you're actually getting more product in here. So you're getting 3.5 grams of product, and they've only charge an extra $2. Now, they've gone up $2 in Australia, they've gone up $2 in the US, and when you look at cost per gram, it's actually better value than the original, but you're getting a much more luxe feeling product. So my gut feeling is that they just want to compete with newer makeup that's coming out. They want to refresh, they want to update, they want to modify the look of their lipsticks. And I think also even just having that sort of MAC logo on the bullet, they've been doing that with their last few formulas. And I get the impression that they want their sort of really popular lipstick range to sort of live up to the look and the feel that they want their brand to portray. And this does have a much more luxe feel. And their past lipsticks that they've been bringing out, they all have beautiful slim bullets. They all have nice quality packaging. I feel like they're trying to just elevate the experience of MAC, and that's just what they've done here. So I don't think you're getting anything cheaper or lower ingredients or, you know, cutting costs. I actually think it's the opposite. I almost feel like that they've cut the program, like the Back to MAC free lipstick, just so they can absorb some of the costs that they put into making this, because their most recent lipsticks in Australia are like upwards of $50. I think the one was actually 50 something dollars. I have it on the screen anyway. And I don't think those are as good as this, whereas they've only increased the price slightly. So I feel like this, in terms of their most recent lipstick offerings, is actually best value for money. So well done, MAC. You have satisfied me, which is a big benchmark, because I've been a fan of the matte lipsticks for over 20 years, and I've gone through like 4 or 5 tubes of Velvet Teddy, a couple of tubes of Lady Danger, and the fact that these feel identical almost, I applaud you. I've seen so many times brands reformulate things and they make them so much worse. I'm thinking Bite Beauty, I'm thinking Glossier, like they butcher the products. That wasn't the case for this one, so I'm really impressed. And I'm not mad that I've got 2 of each, because I'll use them. I love them. Oh, last thing, it does have the vanilla scent. I think I'm losing my sense of smell at the moment, so it's quite subtle, but it does still have the MAC vanilla scent to it, which I'm happy about. So hopefully, if you're curious about this new formula, you've left this video knowing a lot more about it. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments. I'm happy to answer. And have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. And a big thank you to my members for supporting my channel. Mwah! Bye.